Instead of constantly unboxing, putting on the shelf, next, what's next? And unbox that and put it on the shelf, and next, what's next? And I felt like I just was preening a little bit. Oh, look, it's me and my handbag out for the day on a date. It's the only one I'm still thinking of. Whereas the rest have moved out of my mind. Hello, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I want to talk to you about the 5 main lessons that I have learned and the 5 biggest realizations I have come to while I have not been buying designer luxury handbags. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you may have watched a video that I put out recently on why I am no longer buying designer handbags, and I will link that video above and I will link it down below in the description box. And in that video, I basically talked about how I had come to the point when I needed to take a break. I needed to stop and I needed to pause because I felt that I had got to the point that I was buying very expensive designer handbags almost willy-nilly. I wasn't really thinking about it. I wasn't thinking if it was going to work in my wardrobe, work with my style, if it was something that I needed, if it was something I was going to buy. I was spending these amounts of money almost as if it was an everyday occurrence, and that for me is not the way buying luxury handbags should be. So I decided I was going to stop, and I have stopped, and I haven't bought any luxury designer handbags now for over 3 months. And in that time, and as I said in that video, one of the main things that I wanted to do, instead of constantly unboxing, putting on the shelf, next, what's next? And unbox that and put it on the shelf, and next, what's next? Instead of constantly looking for the next thing and constantly hunting and focusing on what's coming next, I said that I wanted to turn that attention and that focus to the bags that are in this room, to what's already here. I wanted to expend that energy on looking at the bags I have, using the bags I have, enjoying the bags I have, rotating them, wearing them, falling back in love with them instead of looking for the next thing. Not that I had fallen out of love with them, but I kind of was putting some of them on the shelf and moving on, and I don't want to buy bags like that. I have now not been buying, as I said, for over 3.5 months, and these are the 5 biggest realizations and lessons that I have learned during that time. And number 1 is hard. Number 1 hurts my heart a little bit. Number 1 is difficult. And while I spent that time focusing on my bag collection and what I have and what I love, yes, there's positives from that, and I will share them with you. But there's also some negatives because there are some bags in my collection in this room that I just don't love enough. I just don't love them enough for the price of them and for them to be here. Don't get me wrong. Love them sitting on the shelf. Love taking them out of the box. Love the look of them on the shelf. Think they're perfectly, beautifully fabulous. Don't actually love using them. Don't look to use them. Don't really enjoy using them. There's a mixture here. There is an example that I can think of that when I decided it was time for this bag, because I have been up here and rotating bags and making sure I've used them. I used one specific bag, and when I used it, I kind of felt, meh. I did not get any of the feels. I remember using it and being shopping with it and thinking, is that it? Is this it? Is this what I think about this bag? And that for the sort of money that's in these bags is not the way it should feel, not the right thing, and was a harsh realization for me that there are bags in here that I have got caught up in the hype and I have bought and I love to look at, but I just don't love enough and I just don't use enough. So I am going to be letting some more of them go. I don't know exactly what it's going to be yet. I know when I say this, I'm going to get messages and emails about bags you're interested in and asking if I'm selling the specific bag that you're interested in, and by all means come ahead and send me those messages and I will let you know whenever I come to a decision, because I want to make sure the decision is right and I don't want to rush it, and I haven't decided yet exactly what's going, but there are some that I know that just aren't right from this time period I've had. I know I just don't love enough. There's others that I have went to use and I've been almost trying to force myself to use, and it's looked fabulous with the outfit, but I just didn't want to use it. I just didn't want to carry that bag. That's a problem when the bags cost this amount of money. That is a problem. And that has led me to a very harsh realization that I have too many bags, and I have bags, some of them, that I just don't love enough. Another thing that I have learned, and it kind of follows on from that, is because I am very impulsive, I have bought some bags because I simply loved the look of them, and I was like a magpie, woohoo, shiny, love it. And I really liked it, and home it came, and I never really thought about it after that, and I didn't really use it, and it didn't really work, and I didn't even really know that it didn't work because I hadn't thought to use it, and that needs to stop. The second lesson and realization I came to, though, on a positive from being in here and rotating my bags and using them, is there are bags in here that still give me the same feels as they did the day that I bought them. As the day I opened them and unboxed them, I still felt that giddy. Once I started putting a bit of attention and focus into choosing bags and what I was going to use, I still felt like I still had those feels, and I felt amazing with that bag. And I felt like I just was preening a little bit. Oh, look, it's me and my handbag out for the day on a date. And that's how I actually felt. That's how good it felt. And that's now where I want to be at the point of how I feel about the bags that I'm buying. It doesn't matter what brand, it doesn't matter what they cost, but I want to feel that good about them, because at this sort of money, there should be no meh bags. The next realization that I made, number 3, is that I absolutely can still get caught up in the hype and can get FOMO and could just be like, buy, go, add. And I'm thinking specifically about this time period where I have not been buying designer handbags, and it's over 3 months, and I know in the real world, not to buy a luxury designer handbag for 3 months is nothing to write home about. In fact, it's fairly everyday normal. But for me, and the point I had got to, I was buying multiple handbags in a month. So it definitely was a break, and I haven't bought it, I'm still not buying a handbag, but that time period definitely was an interruption to what had become the normal course for me, and did break that cycle almost. And what I've learned during that time is that of all the bags through that period of time when I have not been buying, that I have been obsessed on for 5 minutes while I wasn't buying handbags, there's only one out of all the bags during that period that I looked at, that I loved, that I screenshotted, that I made a video talking to you guys about the three handbags that I was obsessed with, that had just come up on the Preloved market, that never come up on the Preloved market, and I wanted to buy them, but I didn't because I was on a pause. And it was a Chanel classic flap with charms on it. It was the fabric multicoloured Chanel flap bag, and it was the small Dior book tote. And I made that video, and even including all the videos that I've made during that time where I've been obsessed by a bag when I started to look at it, the only bag that has actually lasted in my mind for me to still be obsessed with and thinking about and really, really wanting for that 3 month period, and that I didn't forget about and that I didn't kind of just move on from really quite easily, is the orange nano Alma from Louis Vuitton. That is the only one. And that's a big lesson for me, because before, when I was just buying handbags, whenever I decided I wanted to buy one, I just bought it, I would have had probably 3, 4 of those bags within that time period here. And when I now had that enforced period of time where I've had those 3 months where I wasn't buying them and couldn't buy them, enforced on myself, I've kind of forgotten about them. So that absolutely has taught me that I need to think, and I'm so impulsive, but I know that, like, I made a video about 3 of them. I would have bought those bags and brought them home and told you how amazing they were, and they would have been amazing, and I would have loved them. But when I gave myself that time to step back and not actually buy them, there's only one at the end of those 3 months that I'm still obsessed with, and it's the mini orange Alma from Louis Vuitton. I think it's the least expensive out of all the bags. It's the only one I'm still thinking of, whereas the rest have moved out of my mind. And that has to teach me that I need to try and give myself some time. Now, I know if you're a seasonal bag lover, and I've said this before, if you love seasonal bag releases in certain colours, in certain sizes, it can be hard to take time to think about it because they're only available for limited time to a limited amount of people. They can be very hard to get. And that catches me up in the frenzy of buying because they're seasonal and they're going to be hard to get. But I now know that I have to weigh that up against, am I going to have forgotten about this bag if I didn't buy it? Is this really something that I need to buy? Is it going to last that test of time? Am I still going to feel like that about the bag? Is it going to give me the feels because it's too much money to buy, and then if I hadn't have, I'd have forgotten about it anyway? The fourth thing that it has made me focus on and realise is that no matter how good I am with money, and I am good with money and I'm organised with money and my money goes into separate places and it doesn't blur, you can always be better. Of course you can always be better. And this is things that people had said to me in comments before. Oh yes, I know you invest, but you could invest more. And yes, you're right. You can. Because in the time that I wasn't buying handbags, the money that I normally put into my handbag buying account over those 3 months, I didn't put into that. I put it into a separate account that my husband and I have for other things. And we actually, from money that was in my handbag buying account, because I've stopped buying them for now, and that other money that we put away, we actually took a bigger lump sum whenever we were paying a lump sum off our mortgage, because I wasn't spending that money. Now, I am not going to sit here and tell you that I am a reformed handbagaholic. I'm not a reformed handbag lover, a reformed shopaholic. I'm not. I love it. I love handbags and I love buying them. But it did give me a very black and white reality and example of when you aren't buying so many of them, because look what you've already got around you, but when you aren't buying so many of them, here is an example, a physical example that you can see of what else you can do with that money. Now, I always knew that because I'm good with numbers and I'm good with figures and I do the math, but it's something different knowing it, and it's something different having it presented in front of you and actually seeing the money there and making the overpayment or making the investment. And it gives you a very real, actual example to see what else that money could have went from. Now, again, I'm not saying to you that I'm going to stop buying handbags forever. Absolutely not. And I'm not saying to you I'm not going to shop. I am. But I now know and have reminded myself, I always knew, but I've reminded myself what else could be used with those funds. And the bag that I'm buying now is going to have to be one that I really, really love and can't get out of my mind, and have given myself time to consider and just absolutely love it. Love it. Even if it's something that's bought on impulse. I'm thinking about the Dior sequence bag out there. I hadn't thought about that, but I love that bag. It's going to have to be that sort of a reaction, or that sort of a thought out bag that has stayed in my mind to now spend monies where I've had this very real example of what else I could do with them. The fifth thing that I have realised, and I suppose it's something that I always knew, is that I still love it. I still absolutely love handbags. I love researching them. I love buying them. I love playing with them. I love trying them on. I have spent over that time so much more time trying on outfits with different bags. This is not something for me that I feel is a waste. And quite often when you watch videos of what I learned when I wasn't shopping, you'll hear about decision fatigue, or you'll hear about the time that was wasted away from somebody's family focusing on these material things, and you'll hear about how it's a total waste. I don't feel like that. I don't. I am not somebody that's going to suddenly become a minimalist. I already prioritise my family and friends and spend a huge amount of time with them. So I think it's absolutely okay that I have a hobby and I really enjoy this hobby. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, oh, I've wasted all that time and now I shouldn't be doing that time and I should be spending that with other things. This is still my happy place. That's going to stay. And I don't get decision fatigue. I don't come up here and think, oh, I have to pick a bag. I have to pick a bag to go with an outfit. What am I going to wear? Oh, there's so many decisions. What? No, I love it. I love it. I come up and whether I've decided first that I want to wear that bag today, I will pick an outfit to go with it. If I've got an outfit, I'll come up and think, oh, what bag am I going to wear? And I will try them on. And I love it. Love it, love it, love it. And that's not going to change. So this is definitely going to stay a luxury handbag and fashion channel. But it's just something that it's nice to be reminded that although I gave myself a hard time and probably myself a harder time than anybody else did, buying my handbags and cycling them, buy more, I did give myself a hard time about that. And it's nice to remember that this is something that actually still does bring me a lot of joy. And although in that video I had some feelings of being pretty hard on myself, being a bit let down by myself for buying a bag that I hadn't actually thought about, and it was able to move it on very quickly, and I had lost myself for a moment. I think it had become too easy to buy. So it is nice to have grounded myself again and brought myself back to me basically, and not getting just caught up in it all and reassessing finances and all of that. But it's also lovely at the end of that to realise that it hasn't been a waste. None of this is a waste. Hasn't been a waste of time. Hasn't been a waste of money. I love it all. Yes, I've made mistakes and there are bags that are probably going to go because I just don't love them enough now that I have them. But it's still something that brings me huge joy and I don't regret it. I don't regret this love of luxury and I wouldn't change it. I just need from time to time to break the frenzy and recenter myself and refocus and take a look around the room And I think that's been a very, very positive experience. Thank you so much for coming along this journey with me. Journey, there we go with that word. What have you thought? What do you think of this whole? I've had such good, interesting conversations with you guys in the comments about stopping buying handbags, about the comments that I was receiving on the vlog sale, about why I was taking this break, all of it. So if you have any more to bring to the party, come into the comment box, because I have found it really, really fun and really, really informative to engage with you all on this topic and to hear your views on it, because it's something that has a lot of people raising an opinion, and I have loved that because I like topical issues and I like getting into the nitty-gritty of this. Absolutely loved it. So thank you for that. Thank you for watching this. If this has been in any way engaging, informative, just laughing at my misery at times, please do consider giving it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet, please do consider subscribing. And if you're not done with me yet, I'm going to leave another video on the screen for you to enjoy. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching me. Please take care, and I will see you again in the next one.